Yeah. Yes, we are live now. Oh, okay, everybody. Welcome on board. I am Otávio Pitaluga. This is Tech Lives. This is our first live in English. And I have the great pleasure to welcome a very long friend of mine, long-term friend of mine, Hendrik Deckers, founder and CEO of CIO Net. CIO Net is a huge success case, but faced a very tough period due to pandemia, but survived and back on track. And we have a lot to learn from Hendrik about this. That's why I invited him to be our first guest for this debate. I would like to also to take some time while people are coming to introduce a little bit of what we are doing and the purpose of these lives. Okay, I'm one of the oldest Brazilians on LinkedIn. I have created a mini LinkedIn called TAC. TAC is a digital card, as a networking app in which you can exchange your cards all the while. So if everybody has TAC installed, by the end of this meeting, we can exchange. However, we found out one thing, that the Expo, that's the platform you use to develop the software, has an issue with language. So we are now operational only in Portuguese. So we have to set up your mobile to Portuguese in order to use TAC. We are working on this. My apologies, we couldn't make it on time, but it's something that you'll be solved at some point in time. Let me talk very briefly about our lives. We have lives in English or even in Spanish, if you want to. And but then these lives they happen. International lives happen every Thursday by 1 p.m. Brazil time, 6 p.m. CET time, and 9 a.m. Pacific time. So here you have the calendar of our lives, and we have Hendrik and I today. Within 1 week, you have Mario Palladini talking about the business networking in Europe. Then I'm also a co-producer of a movie about the World War II, talk about the Brazilian participation in the World War II, especially about my father. And then we will be discussing this. We are open for more speakers. So if you happen to be interested, you have a subject that could be very interesting for everyone, please let us know. But then in Portuguese, we have them happening on every Tuesday by 7 p.m. Brazil time. We had a number of lives already going on. We are talking about entrepreneurship, innovation, finance, energy, technology in general, IoT, robotics, drones, applications for all this in business. So basically, that's it. That's the content. We have a lot of lives already scheduled until August. And so if you happen to understand Portuguese so that you can follow up, also here we have some recent lives that we had organized. Okay, so we are the most welcome to our initiative. All this knowledge is available. So by being live with us, you have 3 benefits. One is that you have a nice debate. You have also the possibility of talking to somebody, so an expert alive, and then you have also the possibility of an hour networking. So guys, thank you so much for coming. If you want to say hello, introduce yourselves, just salute us, please be the most welcome. Then we have here this, then I will now salute Hendrik. Thank you so much for coming to our first live in English, Reinventing due to pandemia. It's a great pleasure to have you here, a great honor. You know that I'm a big fan of you. We met over social networks in 2005. Then, no, 2003. Then I went to Brussels, to Mechelen. I made a speech about Brazil in 2005 when we met for the first time. And then in 2008 again, I have been there. And then you came to Brazil. So for you guys to understand, Hendrik has all his credentials. He talk about this very soon. But I like to introduce my guests by the way we met and for how long you have been together, because networking for me is very truly important. So, and so Hendrik, please say hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm very fine, very fine. Thank you so much. A great time here in Brazil. Pandemia is something complicated. This month of March was a very sad for many families.
Mm-hmm.
But at least I'm in Rio. We have a summertime still, and good weather, good time here. What about there?
Thank you very much for welcoming me, Octavio. There's a bit of an echo somewhere, so I don't know where that comes from. If that's getting better. So thank you so much for the introduction. Thank you for inviting me to your show. It's a pleasure. Like you said, we go back a long time, and I think both our networking careers started back in 2004 or something like that. I think it was when we were both active as country managers, as country leaders of Economy, which was one of the very first social networks out of the UK. And so we've met online. You in Brazil, I'm in Belgium, so we met online on Economy, and we formed a long friendship based on that. And like you said, we welcomed you a couple of times in Belgium here, and it was my pleasure to visit you in the beautiful Rio de Janeiro. When was it? Like 7 years ago. So I urgently want to come back, Octavio. I urgently want to come back.
You celebrate your birthday, remember?
Yeah. We had a super nice birthday. So it's such a beautiful and nice country, and I love the people there and the culture and everything. So it was a pleasure.
So for those who doesn't know me, has seen me for the first time, I'm not as bald as Hendrik. I just shave it because I would like to be like him today. Okay, Hendrik. So shall we go? So would you like to make some presentation about CIO Net to get started?
Yeah, maybe we can do that. So the background of CIO Net basically goes back to 2004 when we took our first steps in online networking on Academy, and then in 2005, based on the experience that we built there, I had the idea, well, if we combine these new ways of networking, which are online and online community, and we combine that with the traditional world of IT, then what do you get if you put one and one together is a community for CIOs. So that was basically an idea that we came up with in 2005. And so from the start, the ambition was to build a global community for digital leaders around the world and bring them together with the idea that CIOs, digital leaders, have a very challenging job, have a very exciting job, and they can learn a lot from their vendors, they can learn a lot from analysts, but they especially can learn a lot from each other. And I think that's the purpose of a community, is to bring peers together so that they can exchange visions, strategies, ideas, experiences, learn from each other, and together become the best professional that they can be.
Okay, are you going to something or just use a slide?
Yeah, so that was the idea of CIO Net in 2005. And so if I go, here we go. So our mission of CIO Net. So today we are the world's largest community. So we've been building on this for 15 years, and after 15 years, today CIO Net we're probably the largest community of digital leaders around the globe. And so what our mission is basically to help IT executives and their partners, so both the demand side and supply side, to realize their ambition. By leveraging this big community of digital leaders worldwide. And it's really a worldwide community. So we started in Belgium, and now we expanded into the Netherlands, into Spain, UK, Italy, France. So we've been growing the first 10 years to become the largest community in Europe. And then out of Spain, we expanded into Latin America. So we're now active in Brazil with our team in Brazil, and in Colombia, and in Mexico, and so on. So we cover most of the Latin territories today. And then last year we also expanded into 3 American cities, and in Melbourne, Australia as well. So today we close not nearly 9,000, but nearly 10,000 members worldwide. And we organize events in 20 different countries, and we also do worldwide events. Our membership is inclusive and exclusive. It is exclusive in the sense that it's only a community for digital leaders. So you need to be CIO, CTO, CDO, or equivalent in large or mid-sized organizations. And in mid-sized and in large organizations, there's also the direct reports of the CIOs that are welcome. So we have very strict, clear member criteria. But at the same time, we're inclusive. So if people fit the criteria, they're welcome. So we make it very simple for people to join, to be part of the community. So if you fit the criteria, you're welcome to join the 10,000 members that we have around the world today. And so we're supported. We work together with a lot of vendors, like Stefanini, the big company from Brazil, but also big brands like IBM, Deloitte, Cognizant, Capgemini, and so on and so on. New players on the block like UiPath, Red Hat, open source technology. So all different software services and so on are organizations that we work with. And we help both parties to come together. And so what is it that we do? Well, basically, we all learned to our networking started online. Our international networking started online, and so that's what we do still today. So we do a lot of online networking. We have our CIO Net app that runs on all the different platforms where our members come together, where they interact, where they discuss, where they engage in daily conversations. So that's an important part, and we connect with all of them through newsletters and emails and so on. What we also do is we bring IT teams together in tribes. And a tribe is basically a collection of 10, 12 IT teams from different companies that commit to work close together and to exchange information and to, in squads, in work groups, discuss architecture, business intelligence, cloud computing, and so on and so on. So we make work groups with 10, 12 companies so that they can really help each other to solve their issues and to discuss things in detail. So that's another form of community building that we do, very problem solving, results oriented. And then, of course, we do many events. So traditionally, we would do on a yearly basis 250 or something real life events. We would bring CIOs together, mostly on country level, some international conferences, but mostly on country level, to conferences, to community events. And what is, I think, important in our community is that we almost always put the CIO on stage. So in our community, it's led by our advisory boards, and they and we select the best CIOs that can share their experiences, visions, and strategies with their colleagues. So that's the people that we put on stage, so that there's a lot of learning going on. So that is traditionally what we would be doing: 250, 300 events on a yearly basis, 10, 12 per country where we are active. And then, of course, but we can talk about that a little bit more in a moment, how we then reacted to the COVID-19 crisis. And so we've switched to, of course, to virtual conferences a lot. And so we have we also do Digital Leader of the Year programs, and we do a lot of international conferences as well. So we now do 3 to 4 CIO Next conferences each year. And these are big international web conferences where we bring 1,000 digital leaders from around the world together, so that they can also do their international networking and learning from each other. And we do many of these, and I'll talk about that in a moment. And so basically that is the general introduction of what CIO Net is. We're a community for digital leaders, now really global, that they traditionally did online networking, work group tribes, problem solving networking, and then community events. And then March, I still remember it was, I think, Friday the 13th, when in Belgium everything closed down, was announced that we went into the first lockdown. And on, I think it was Thursday the 12th of March last year, we had our last face-to-face event. We brought, what was it, 50, 60 CIOs together in the Belgian football club here. That was the last event that we did in Belgium. And then then COVID came, and things has changed a lot. So we can take away the slides now and talk about that, Octavio.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for the introduction. Well, basically, I had some questions that you covered already. You talked about the expansion in Europe and Latin America later. Now, I'm glad to hear that you. By the way, you initiated the United States and Australia at the beginning of 2020, or
yes,
how was it?
And that was an important decision. So last year around this time, we were preparing to start the recruitment of a team in Atlanta, and a team in Miami, and a team in Philadelphia. And then the crisis hit us. And so it was an important decision for us. Are we going to stop this? Are we going to wait until the storm weathers out? Or are we still going to take the risk and do the investment? And in the end, we decided, well, nothing's going to stop us. I mean, this is going to be a different way of networking that we're going to organize. We're all going to go virtual and online. And we're not going to stop our plans to go further international. So we went on with the recruiting of our team. And so today we have in these 3 cities a team that are building the local tribes, that are building the local community in the US. So basically they have been operational as of last summer. And so we're seeing the very nice results out of the US already today. And of course, the crisis doesn't make things easier, but at the same time, a crisis is an opportunity, because the natural reaction of a person on a crisis is to sit and stand still, is to sit down and do nothing. That's your natural reaction of a person. And we said, no, that's not what we're going to do. We are going to hit the gas pedal, and we're going to go faster. We're not going to go stop or go slower. We are going to go faster. And so basically what we've done is, can you take away the slides and just put our faces on the screen, Octavio? So basically what we said is, we had in every country this plan of events, and many of our colleagues that also organize events for digital leaders in IT and so on, they started to postpone. And so they would postpone the April event to June, and then later to September, and then to November, and then in the end they had to cancel. And from day one we said, well, we're not going to postpone. We are going to virtualize everything. Now, the good thing was that already in 2019, we made the decision to start running virtual events. And so in February 2020, we did our first big international web conference, and it was not done at the moment. Nobody did big virtual conferences. That was one of the first in our industry. So on the 14th of February last year, we ran our first international web conference, and that was with the big support of the CIO Net team and the CIO Net community, was a big success. So we were well prepared. We had all the processes in place, we had the technology in place, we had the experience, we had the teams in place to immediately virtualize everything that we did. So that was mid-March. We said, well, we're not good together with our CEO, because you introduced me as the CEO. I'm not the CEO of CIONET. I'm the managing director and founder. Luc Hendriks is our CEO, and Luc and the team, we decided we are going to virtualize everything, and instead of stopping, we're going to do more. So we immediately started to do a lot of international web conferences, specifically on the topic of how can we fight Corona with IT. So we talked with CIOs from distribution companies, from government organizations, from all different, from pharmaceutical organizations, from big fast mover consuming goods. We had CIOs from India coming to speak to us. So really an international program, so that we could help our members, so that they could find support from each other on how they needed to do the switch, because a lot has happened in March, April, and May, in the first months of the lockdown that we have seen worldwide. All of a sudden, all the organizations had to start remote working. So they all had to implement collaboration tools, Microsoft Teams, Zoom, and all the web conferencing, the web meeting tools. So IT was under a lot of pressure in these first weeks and months of the crisis, and we thought it was our role as a community to support our members in that, to make sure that in this crisis we were there so that they could learn from each other and see how other members in the community were fighting the crisis with IT. So that's a little bit what we did. We said, well, we're not going to stop and do less. We're going to virtualize and do more. And so we worked like many organizations around the world, many IT organizations around the world as well. We worked very, very hard in these first couple of months, and we haven't stopped accelerating since then. And this has paid off quite well for us. Because of that, we didn't wait and see, because we didn't postpone, because we didn't cancel everything. We built up a lot of experience in how to run small virtual roundtables where we send cheese and beer or a full lunch, or we do so many creative formulas already since before last summer to bring our members together, because everybody is sitting at home. Everybody is working 80-90% of the time from home, and everybody's fed up with that. And so it's our role as a community to bring our members together, so that they, not only on the personal level, that's one, but also on a professional level, that they can continue their networking, that they can continue exchanging their experiences, their visions, their strategies. So that's really, I think, where CIONET as a community, we've stood up and we've taken our responsibility. I think as a community, the team has worked very, very hard in all the countries where we're active. And I would like to thank our team that they did that. I mean, and we can talk about the impact on people of this crisis. I think that's an interesting topic to discuss as well. So our teams worked very hard to make sure that the community was even more alive. And the result is that the engagement level in our community has increased enormously. In the country, that I work in myself, in Belgium, we used to do 12 events on a yearly basis, 12 in real life events, community events, couple of dinners and so on. Nowadays, we do 40, 50, we do more than 50 virtual events on a yearly basis. Every week, we bring our members together. So things have changed dramatically, and that has had a great impact on our organization, great impact on our community, and a great impact on our business. So we a crisis is challenging, but a crisis at the same time is an opportunity as well. So that's certainly something that we have learned over the last 12 months.
The reasons for your success are, number one, 13 years you had to organize so many live face-to-face meetings where people get to know each other, they develop a relationship, a trust among the members. They knew that this is a real business opportunity for everyone. They want to belong, they want to be part of your community. Okay. Number two, you have developed the whole technology, and you also prepared to become more and more virtual over time. And also because you had a good number of sponsors, a good number of IT managers, CIOs participating regularly, you knew that the audience would be there. The audience, and also because it is an audience that is very digital. They are used to work remotely in teams, and so they say, okay, I'm comfortable with this new environment. This is not a big deal for me, right? And also because you have a franchising business model, right?
Well, our model has changed a little bit over time. So we've done our international expansion over the last 15 years. In the first 10 years, based on a franchising model, where in each country we found a local team of entrepreneurs that took on the local CIO Net community building challenge, and so that worked quite well and still works very well in several countries. But at the same time, about 4 years ago, we took the decision to go into a hybrid model, and not only work with franchises, but also start our own businesses in different countries. So today, CIO Net International is we are ourselves operational in Italy and Germany and UK and US and Belgium and a couple of other countries, and LATAM and Spain is run out of by the LATAM and Spain team, and then we still have, for instance, Poland and Netherlands that still run with their local team. So we are a mixed structure. Our franchising model has allowed us to grow international with organic growth, with our own means. But now we have reached the level of business where it makes also more sense to have ownership of the operations in different countries, because that allows us to align much more the service that we bring to our international clients. So if we work with companies like UiPath or like Google or like Red Hat and so on, or Stefanini and so on, it allows us to offer them a much more integrated set of services that they're looking for.
I have a question about the language. The language is only English in all events, or no? local language?
No, we're really a global company, if you want. So let me get back to. Let me stop the slides here. So we're really a global company in the sense that we are very local. So in each country we have, in Holland, the activities are in Dutch. In Germany, the activities are in German. In Spain, they are in Spanish. So in each country, they use their own language, except in Belgium, where we have two languages, Dutch and French. So we select the third one, English. And then on international level, everything is English, of course. So in the app, in the international web conferences, and so that is in English. But the global activities are in English. The local activities are in local language. And a good example of that is what we've done on the 11th of March last month. We brought together 1,000 digital leaders at the same time from all these countries around the world in what we called a global conference that we under the name of CIO Fest. So it was a fest for CIOs, a party for digital leaders. And we had on our program the CEO of Avanade was on the program. We had the CEO of Software AG was on the program. We had the number 2 of Boston Consulting Group was on the program. So we had this big international program that was there for all countries. And then we run in parallel community events for the different countries in their own language. And that is something that is, I think, quite unique. I have not seen that with other communities I've seen other local community events online, virtual, or I've seen international ones, but where you combine the local with the global, I think that was quite something unique that the team have pulled off with CIO Fest 3 weeks ago.
Okay, impressive. Congratulations. So as far as live events are concerned, do you have any forecasts that this will come back at some point in time within this year, or only next year, or are you ready to go more, let's say, 75-80% digital vis-a-vis real life events? How do you see this?
Yeah, I think we will have a combination of the two. So far I don't believe too much in hybrid events where we combine in real life with virtual. I think that's a very tough nut to crack. Same is true for many meetings. It's a difficult combination. So I still have to see if that could work. But I think we will go back once we're all vaccinated and the crisis is a little bit over. It's not going to take forever. So we will go back to real life events, but the virtual events will not go away. So I believe that we will go back to do our 10 events in Belgium, our 200 events in real life events around the planet. But at the same time, these virtual round tables, and so we have learned that you can nowadays meet people, exchange ideas, network in such an efficient way from wherever you are with the right people through this virtual experience. That's not going to go away. So that's going to stay. So we will have the real life events back, but the virtual events. So I think what you say, 70-80% of virtual and 20-30% in real life is what I would expect. Yes.
Okay. At that time, was any kind of urgent and hard decision I had to take as soon as you realized that this pandemic would be something that would take a little longer?
Well, a couple of the decisions that we had to make was, are we going to do the investment in the US? So it was more risk decisions. We have increased the team dramatically as well. When our CEO joined us 4 years ago, the core team of the people working on CIO Net International was a very small team. But now, because we've included Italy and Germany, US, UK, and so on and so on, the core team, and because we do much more activities, has grown to 30, 40 people. So we've also made the decision to build a competence center in Poland, where we find a lot of very strong people with strong skills, with strong language skills, and so on. So we have a competence center in Poland, where we have more and more people from there working for CIO International, and from there also for other countries. So that was an important decision, so that we can. We're now getting to a level where we can have economies of scale by having a pool of talent together. So our tough decisions were to accelerate, to invest, to go fully digital. I think that was the most important ones. Yes.
Your talents, they were already working with you. They were local, and then they became international, correct?
Yes. So we all do much more international work now, I would say. We've built a very international, strong team. I mean, that's one of the advantages, that we do a lot of in English here. So it's the advantage of a small country is that you need to be good in your English to do international business. There's one point I wanted to bring up as well, Octavio, is the impact that the crisis has on people. Is something that we should not underestimate. I mean, it's now a year that we are working from home, and that we are only meeting through Zoom, and only see each other very few times in a year. So that has a big impact. I mean, it means that because through video conferencing and meetings, the efficiency has increased dramatically on what you can do. So that means that you can do maybe twice as much by working remotely and virtual than you could do when working in the office. So I think in general, especially also in our team, the efficiency, the workload that you can do is easily double. But that also has an impact of people. So people are getting stressed, and so we have to be very careful in working with our teams, that we don't overload them. And so that's something that also we as CIO Net, we need to team up, make sure that we also build enough team spirit and so on. And so, for instance, what we're running right now within CIO Net itself. So now with all the countries together, we have a team of around just under 100 people or so around the world. What we are doing is we are running a fitness campaign. So we have a competition between the different countries where the team will measure their fitness. They will go into a 12-week program. They measure the fitness at the end, and we see which team has improved the best. And that is just one way of getting everybody, also giving them the opportunity to do their social networking a little bit more. And then, of course, like many organizations, we've done our all hands meetings. We do our weekly coffee and meetings, chit-chat meetings online, just to make sure that people not only work, but that they also manage their time and manage their relationships and so on. So I think that is, for many organizations, including CIO, one of our biggest challenges is to not overload. And I'm so grateful for a lot of our people in our team. They've worked so hard. So I would like also to thank all of them for that. And so there's been a lot of hard work, and so we are now expanding, recruiting a lot. We've recruited a lot of people over the last months, because it's important that people have a balanced workload that is manageable, because some people have the tendency to not stop and to go all the way all the time.
Wonderful. What were the main lessons that you learned throughout this whole process, since the beginning up to now, and with especially due to pandemia?
Well, I think and this will not be something new for most people, is that this pandemia, as you call it, is really a big accelerator for digitalization. So what normally would have taken companies 5 years or 10 years to implement remote working and remote meetings and web conference and so on, that would have taken 5 or 10 years. Now it was there in 3 weeks or 3 months. And so the digitalization of how we work together is one of my big learnings. If you look at how we're running together with UiPath a conference next month on the topic reinventing business, reinventing work. So our companies are under a lot of change. So this crisis has created a lot of acceleration, a lot of change. So the impact of e-commerce is amazing. I mean, remote delivery of packages, web shops and so on, the growth has been amazing. But also that's in a positive sense, but also other companies have been impacted. If you look at the hospitality sector or travel sector, that have been implemented. So many changes. So all organizations, or almost all organizations, need to reinvent the way that they work. And the only way to do that is by digitalizing, by going faster and quicker with digital part of the solution, and at the same time by reorganizing the way that we work. Because if you look at it, the workplace, the office, is not that important anymore. Some people have called it that in the past we would do we would be off-site. We would always be in the office, and then if we had to discuss something strategic or creative, we would do an off-site in a hotel or in a center or whatever. The expectation is now that the office will take over that role, and that we will come on-site, that we will come to the office to be together and to do our strategic thinking and our creative work. So the role of the workplace is changing dramatically, and also the workforce, the way that we organize our workforce, the people that we work with, is changing dramatically, because the world, I think also one of the lessons is that the world has again become so much smaller. I mean, time zones are still a limit, but Brazil and Europe is only, what is it now, 5 hours away from each other. But as long as time is not that much of a problem, you can. It doesn't matter where you are. If you're in Bucharest, or you're in Oslo, or you're in Rome, or you're in Sao Paulo, or you're in New York, it doesn't matter anymore. So location has become much more irrelevant for many jobs. And so that also means that companies now can recruit globally for the top talent that we all need to go through these changes that the company is going. So reinventing the business is something that we all need to do quicker. We need to react to that, take this crisis as an opportunity. And those companies that react better and faster to crises, they will survive in the long term. And to do that, we are reorganizing work, and that has a big impact on how companies are organized.
I think that one of the biggest assets of CIO Net is the knowledge repository that you have, right? So you have gained expertise from everybody all over the world. Sometimes you post questions and they have wonderful brains. They come together, they come up with a solution that could be beneficial for everyone. This is just this point is very much worthwhile for someone into innovation, into digital, to become a member of a CIO Net, right? Because they have access to all this knowledge overnight. Correct?
There's a lot of knowledge inside the community, but the community also shares a lot of knowledge outside of the community. So if you go to for instance, to CIONet.tv, you will find 30, 40 long format interviews with some of the top CIOs from around the globe. So if you want to know how Bulgari, the fashion label, how they do that digital transformation, if you want to know how the CIO of Greenpeace is thinking, if you want to, very soon we will interview the CIO of AstraZeneca, the global CIO there. If you want to know how top digital leaders, how they think, how they're programmed, how they organize their teams, how they are wired, then that's a public source of information. I think that is very interesting. I welcome everybody to join CIO Next conference, which is our public conference. So if you go to CIONext.com, let me show that here maybe quickly again. So that's the title here, CIONext.com. There we have the next version coming up on the 5th of May. If you're a digital leader and you want to join our community, go to CIONet.com and talk to our chatbot, and you can sign up as a member. And then, of course, you can join the community and you can also get the inside views. And then, of course, the last way that the knowledge. So I spoke earlier about tribes, and tribes is really a next level of exchanging information, a next level of building a repository of knowledge on IT management in general. So because that's where we bring specialists together, where they help each other to solve problems. And the knowledge that is created in this group is also something that we capture, that we anonymize, and that we use to feed the community and to make sure that we build the best possible community for digital leaders around the world.
Wonderful, guys. We would like to invite you to take this moment to ask questions to Hendrik. See, I have done a lot by my side here, but perhaps the public has some other questions, some other different angles to challenge you. So we have, let's say, 10 minutes more. And if you'd like to take an opportunity, go ahead, guys. How is, in terms of Brazil specifically, how is Brazil doing? How many members do you have over here, and how many events you have been doing per year?
I don't have the details by country out of my head, Octavio, but I know that the Brazilian team has been very successful, and they're growing fast lately. So if I look at the something that I know is the attendance, for instance, of our CIO Net members from Brazil on our international conferences is very high. So we get a lot of CIOs from Brazil that so they like these international and online formats. So that's something that Brazil is doing very, very well. So our team, Carlos, and the team in Brazil are doing a very good job at the moment.
Wonderful. I know a group called the CIOs Rio. I'll have a friend of mine who is a member of this group. I'll introduce him to you. Okay. Perhaps they have 50 CIOs in Rio, based in Rio. I don't know if you have access to them, but I will contact you about these guys. And they may have this kind of groups per each state, I guess. I imagine. Then we can ask. Well, we have a very shy audience, although they have they've been here with us.
So I think we discussed a lot. We covered many different points. I know that you still want to give an update on some of the tech things. We're getting closer to the hour, so maybe you want to proceed with that.
To talk about tech, you mean?
Yeah, or the upcoming events that you still have, maybe that's a good time to do that now.
Actually, concerning tech, one of the things that I do love, if there is anybody hearing this, it could be interesting for you. I'd like to develop this business further, and we are looking for developers. Okay, our technology is React Native, Java, perhaps Java we can change to Nodes or any other. I'm personally not too much big fan of one technology or another. What I really want is tech works. It's a minimalist kind of a LinkedIn, where in one simple card you can have all your social networks, all your keywords, and you can put as many telephone numbers and emails, and you can share. For example, you don't need to say to somebody, "Oh, I will send an email later." No, you can prepare a digital card and you just exchange the card. For example, I have one card for investors. In this card for investors, I have a video with a pitch. I have also a executive summary. So I just give you this in case I identify an investor. I give you this card to you. You have everything in your hands, so you can take a decision whether you want to continue talking to me or not. And this could be applicable to any other stakeholder, to a buyer, to a media contact, to a supplier. So depending on the situation, you can exchange a specific business card to that specific contact, without having the need to carry so many cards with you in your pocket. So you can wear many different hats, even on a social basis. Sometimes here I'm just alumnus from my MBA program, but I'm not here too much on business. No, here I'm just on the holidays, and I'm doing something different. See, and so this is flexibility, and to be very minimalistic. In just 3 minutes, you open your account in your card, and then you start operating. Today is available in Android, iOS, and in 5 languages: Portuguese, Spanish, English, Italian, and French. So we just need to fix this language matter, and it'll be available to everybody. And another thing that's really nice, that you can exchange your card globally, which means I'm here in Rio. Most of you guys are, Hendrik is in Belgium, and some other people may be in Europe or United States. You just go over here, you see a symbol, the symbol of pairing in mobiles, and then you click on that. And by clicking on that, you can you see the list of everybody who is available online, and you can exchange your card. Very simple as that. Okay, guys, I think that if we have no more, just a question here. If you have no more questions for now, I thank everyone. I thank especially Hendrik for your time and for your generosity in sharing all your wisdom and expertise and knowledge with everybody. For those who are into IT business, I strongly recommend you to join CIO Net, because it's a very special community. As you can see, the work that Hendrik has been doing is superb. Okay?
Okay.
Hendrik,
Octavio,
when did you come? Final question, final consideration. When did you come to Brazil, to Rio?
Well, as soon as possible, Octavio. I really need to get back.
I'm now training my stand-up paddle. Okay, I live in a very nice area in the sea, and I have a challenge for you. I will teach you how to do that. Have a lot of turtles nearby. It's wonderful.
I have very good memories of Brazil. I look forward to coming back soon. Thank you so much, Octavio.
Thank you.
For this opportunity. I'll see you soon.
Everybody. Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye.